So I think we announced a lot of things. To me, some of the key elements that we're announcing is, first of all, our data roaming engine, which is a product that helps the operators introduce more consumer user-friendly price plans for data when people is roaming. Because everyone is afraid of bill shock. 40% in Europe is actually switching off data, not using it, and the 60% who uses it 300 times less when they're traveling than when at home. So here we have a very, very compelling solution on how to make this much more user-friendly going forward, and thereby people will use more, the operators will have more revenue, and everyone will be happy. Second, we are introducing our fully fledged fraud protection and revenue assurance portfolio that we have that covers everything that a telco, whether it's a mobile, a fixed net, or even a cable company, basically needs on top of that one. So we have that solution. And a little bit linked to that one, it's also the whole machine-to-machine, where we got our first customer machine-to-machine, the Internet of Things, which is extremely interesting, and I believe it's going to be the year of the machine-to-machine in 2012. And linked to that one, our fraud protection revenue assurance platform is already capable of supporting the machine-to-machine, which is going to be extremely interesting and extremely important in that business, because it's machines and people can misuse them, take them, steal them, use it for things that they're not supposed to do. So making sure that you can monitor that from a revenue assurance part and a fraud part is going to be extremely important. So these are probably three of the things that is top of my mind that I think is the most important introductions for us here in Barcelona this year. So we see one big trend, right? It's called data. Data roaming. As I said before, we've known that enterprise customer in Europe, like 44% switches off data roaming. The 56% who uses it 300 times less in a roaming scenario than when at home. And for residential customers, around 80% who switches this off. So the whole data explosion, smartphones, LTE, roaming scenarios, data is everything. So this is all about being the wireless industry supporting the whole mobility area around this one. This is the clear underlying trend. Then probably the other underlying trend that I see here in Barcelona is also the delivery models into the mobile operators, because it used to be, let's buy software, let's buy hardware, and then we do something, and then a few years later they launch a new product and a new service. This is going away. They are buying more, they are outsourcing more. So the whole outsourcing trend, and specifically as managed services, which is what our company has been doing for the last 25 years, is clearly a trend that we see. And if you walk around here, you see that this delivery model is gaining momentum on a day-by-day basis, also when you talk to the operators. So this is probably the two, to me, most important trends here in Barcelona. Data is growing everywhere. Data and roaming is growing. Just to give you a few examples, in 2011 we saw a 70% year-over-year growth in the number of data roaming transactions. So you understand there's a lot of growth in that one going forward. But there's a lot of untapped revenue. All the people who does not use it, all the people who switch it off, all the people who's afraid of bill shock. It's really the way that data roaming is being charged per megabyte. No one knows when they use the megabyte. So you have to redefine, you have to reinvent the charging principles as that one. So data roaming is a big trend. Some of our internal research shows that by deploying these elements, the mobile operators could probably untap up to 900 million euros additional revenue on a yearly basis, just from roaming, just being more intelligent with some of these solutions. So I think to us, the whole mobile data in the roaming scenario is extremely important and extremely interesting. The biggest, I think they have many, right? So it's a long list, right? I participated in the leadership summit yesterday, and I can tell you what the themes were here. It was really about all the investment that they have to put in here for the data, the LTE. They have to go and buy the spectrums. They're expensive. The regulator is charging a lot of money for the spectrum. They have to invest in all the infrastructure to get it up and running. And by the way, they're already kind of given it, I wouldn't say free of charge, but it's kind of included in the voice packages. So they also see a limit to how much additional revenue they can get out of that. So it's a big challenge for them. So how will they better monetize the whole data revolution? Not only in roaming, but in everything. So that's a key element. How do they monetize these big investments they have up in front of them? All of them know that they have to do it because they're going to go out of business, because the world is getting mobile, the world is getting about data, the world is getting about smartphones, the world is getting about tablets. So they know that they have to do that. but how do they fund these investments, how they make it a healthy business? They're clearly struggling to figure that one out. So the different business model and how to be there, optimizing roaming we talked about earlier, being in the value stream when people is buying applications and paying with their phone bill instead of paying with their credit card, are some of the solutions that the operators are looking into. The other dimension of that one, which is another big challenge, is all the technical complexity. Again, LTE is a new standard. It has to work for the next 10 years with all other standards. How do you operate that in a very efficient way as well? Is another dimension of the same thing that they have to do. And then they have to do all of this more efficient. Because, you know, they're struggling to grow their top line, so they have to drive more efficient, so they have to do things a different way. And that's where we're back in some of the trends that we see, that they outsource more and more. They depend on partnerships to bring new products to market much faster. And they depend and they request new business model where it's not like buy everything up front and then hopefully the business case pay off. It's really solutions like the one MACH deliver, where it's kind of, you know, most of it is like a no cure, no pay. Right? Here's a product, we launch it in 2 months instead of 6 or 12 months. And by the way, you only pay us if you get your subscribers to use it. So very attractive. And here we see some clear trends, you know, like I think we did a research together with Informa, and some of these outsourcing is expecting to more than double over the next 3 years. Right? In the whole area of roaming, partner management and all these elements, they expect to triple the amount of those businesses that they outsource. So there's a huge trend which helps them, and it's a paradigm shift on how they used to do business that started a few years ago that we will see accelerate in the coming years clearly. So this is probably the 3 trends that I picked up so far here in Barcelona. The popularity is exploding, the demand is there. I think the paradigm shift inside the mobile operators on how to do things is getting there. They try and understand it. They're getting to the point where they understand and they realize that they cannot do everything themselves like they used to. Right? They cannot. The whole thing about data and mobile data, it's a different delivery model. It's not like telcos used to be. It's more like IT. And the fact that they need to be more efficient, more fast, actually do more with less resources much faster, which is the requirement. So they depend on good partnerships who has these solutions, who can bring it to market very fast in a very compelling business model, you know, the no cure, no pay business model we talked about. The trends are clear, the surveys are clear, and when you walk around here in Barcelona, you also see that a lot of the providers or partners to the telecom business is adapting these models to a much higher extent compared to last year. Where we feel in our company we are extremely well positioned, because that's how we've been conducting our business for the last 25 years, right? We are a managed cloud-based service provider of BSS and OSS systems. That's what we call ourselves, that's how we see ourselves. And that's exactly what the research, that's exactly all the points that we see here in Barcelona is pointing in exactly that direction. So we feel that we're extremely well positioned, we have the experience, and we have, you know, all the customer relationships, and they trust us with their business already. So to me it's an very, very interesting trend going on for our company, for the industry. It's going to be very interesting, very complex, very exciting, very challenging to be in the mobile industry for the next 5 years, because it's another revolution coming. So the future growth is exactly what we talked about. We have these 4 elements, right? How can we help our customers, the mobile operators, to manage their partners extremely efficient? The whole management side. How do we make sure that they can bill their end subscriber of whatever transaction goes on with the partner, and how can they bill their partner on the wholesale dimension? And how do they settle all this money? We're very, very good at this. The real-time service delivery platform that we have announced here at Mobile World Congress as well is all about these data mobility services. So this is where the future is, and we are there. We have solutions, very, very good response from the customers as well. It's going to be all about data. You know, today roaming is about voice, and then you can also use data. It's going to reverse. It's going to be all about data, and you also use voice. Right? It's the tablets, it's the smartphones. The penetration is extremely high in Europe, extremely high in North America, but it's moving into all the rest of the world, and it's going to grow very high. So everyone will have a tablet or a smartphone in the future, and it's about how can you use all the things on your smartphone, on your tablet that you use at home. How can you use that no matter where you are at extremely transparent price levels? So roaming is just going to increase more and more people will travel, and you will not just settle with not being able to do what you do at home. So it's a clear requirement. So everything will be seamless. Everything will be fair, transparent, consumer-friendly price models behind that one.